Really? Check it out
Yeah.
at some point. Huh.
I mean, I mean, I will tell you. I mean, I was as skeptical as you were. I mean, I was like, "This won't work," but it
But he
does.
did. Huh.
And it's only, I think it's 35 or $40 a month.
Yeah, that's what they advertise it at like 35. It is pretty cheap.
Yeah.
We'll have to find out from George how he had internet when I didn't.
Um, yeah, because I'm connected.
Did you have it? Did you have Spectrum, don't you? Like almost
I
everybody
do.
else in the universe.
I do currently.
Yeah,
I've had
Spectrum had a
AT&T.
huge outage last week.
Get rid of Spectrum, dump Spectrum. They're
Really?
going bankrupt anyway.
So,
That I don't doubt. How you could have internet out for a day and a half in this day and age. I was
Did you get a
like,
credit? Did you get a credit for it?
oh, I have no idea. I'll look at some point. But
you won't get credit.
Yeah, so you call them and they'll give you a credit.
Yeah.
It'll be like $2.
Yep. Exactly.
right, right. That would be
But
the issue.
stick it to the man. Stick it to the man.
You are the man.
Yeah, I know.
That's the problem.
So, yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Thank
Everybody
goodness.
ready?
Oh, well, I think the market's up finally. I've already all forgotten what it looks like when the market goes up.
You see only red?
Green now. Thank God.
Mhm. Yeah, there's some.
Strategy's up $8.10. Yay.
Swing trading it like that, it's a good day to be in the buy zone. But I think overall, I mean, first of all, we're pretty sideways. We're
Yeah.
kind of tracing the same rectangular box,
Yep.
touching and going.
Yeah, we're worse than October. Yeah, we're going down. It's like a slow walk down a mountain.
So
Oh,
let me start
George,
this.
yeah.
I've got a little intro I want to do. So if you'll bear with me. So I'm going to say good morning to everyone and welcome to Crouch's Crypto Corner. This is the longest running crypto call in the Carolinas. Each
Yay.
week we bring together builders, investors, policymakers, and curious minds to talk about digital assets, blockchain market, and the finance world. So I just wanted to open up and sort of ask you what you thought were the biggest events over the last 12 months in the crypto blockchain space and share with us kind of what your thinkings are, a couple of ideas that you've seen that have been significant to you, and then we'll kick off with Patty. But I just didn't know if maybe you'd want to chime in and say, well, this has been the greatest thing for me to happen in the crypto world. So, anybody want to take a shot at it?
I didn't have a positive thing.
Well, that doesn't have to be positive. Yeah,
Well,
Frank.
I was thinking about the liquidations in October and November were shocking. And we even had liquidations yesterday. So
Now
that was
we talking crypto. We talking the market.
crypto,
Okay.
Bitcoin specifically. Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
I'd agree
Yeah.
with that. I think the most notable thing that happened to the crypto markets. By the way, hi everybody. I'm Frank Speiser. First time on the call here. Thanks for having me, George. Good to meet you, everybody that I haven't met. And good to see some familiar faces. I think I think the October surprise, which essentially was just naked on its face, like market manipulation, where people were coming in and no matter what happened with the market, it was bad news for crypto, right? Where it's just like
Yeah.
everything was just pushing it down. We'd get good news, but then the market would fall. It was, it turns out, as kind of like today is proving out, today's the first unchecked day of decent news for a while where Jane Street wasn't dumping into a wall of buys at 10 a.m. every morning, right? So um, the most notable thing is, I think, as much as we want to, as much as the use case for crypto and blockchain should be freedom and for people to as a haven for in the case of Bitcoin as a haven against inflation. Um, we have to come to terms with now the market is it's not our Bitcoin anymore, right? It's now
Right.
institutionalized where you have to be aware of what's going on there. And there are definitely market actors that can do things in the crypto markets that they can't do on Wall Street right now, right? And that
True.
Jane Street action that happened in October and still continued until a couple of weeks ago when they got a letter from the government to say, hey, knock it off, or we're going to start kicking down some doors. Um, I mean, that proved that the markets are fairly manipulated, and it shouldn't have happened because you have one of these things where BlackRock, and some of the other some of the other ETFs are buying on a cadence now where you have people that have part of their retirement portfolios making routine buys into these assets. That should have lifted the market just on its own. But you have these people who know when those buys are going to take place, and then they're selling into them, so they see all the benefit from it, and then they push it down over the course of the next day,
Sure.
and then they buy it at rock bottom, ride
Right.
it up, and then dump it 10 a.m. to the next day. So I don't know if that's a good thing for anybody, but that's definitely the one thing that I've taken away is like this is a new world,
And
you
I,
know.
yeah, and I guess if you're a trader, then and you look at it as a small moment in time, but I think most everybody here is not a trader, but rather in it for the long term. So really,
Yeah,
we
I
don't
never
care.
sold. I
Yeah,
didn't sell for the whole
exactly.
thing.
So that's one thing I would say for me. Probably one of the things is the passage of the Genius Act would be
Mm.
probably just a highlight for the last 12 months. Anybody else want to chime in? Otherwise, we're going to give the floor to Patty.
Yeah, I'll just real quickly, I'll lower my hand here, but I think the biggest impact on crypto is the simple fact that we have a president that was elected, that was debanked and that has recognized the importance of this industry, and they're basically retooling the entire fiscal system around it. I mean, it's just such a big macro issue,
Yeah,
that perhaps we overlook it. But to Frank's point, we saw, Wall Street come into this. I mean, yes, I mean, the banksters are in the game. We have leveraged projects, that are proliferating at the speed of light, pure and simple. So to assume that we're not going to get liquidations, as a result of that, is just naive. I mean, and I think we're ignoring, the impact of centralized exchanges like FTX and Celsius tanking a few years ago, recognizing that leverage Bitcoin.
Voyager.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, if you leverage Bitcoin, eventually it catches up with you.
Yeah,
Tick tock, next block. Bottom
that's a
line,
good
and
point.
so
And to that point about the president, Dennis, wouldn't you say that the new SEC chair and the CFTC chair are positive moves in that direction
oh,
and
absolutely.
indicative of the attitude that the president has. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a cascading, set of events that, if we zoom out and we look at it from a glass half full standpoint rather than a glass half empty, position, then, you know, you just follow what's happening.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're in it short term, trying to obviously uh, concerned about the dips, other than buying the dips, then you're I mean, you just falling for the same narrative that has always occurred. And I mean, the bottom line, we still have the same basic fixed supply, increasing demand, obviously, nation state coming in, corporate treasuries coming in. It
Sure.
is frustrating to see, the fact that it hasn't done its parabolic move again, since, September, October. But it is a thinly traded market. I mean, I mean, the industry as a whole right now is down what 2.5 to about 2.5 trillion today from roughly 4 trillion.
Oh, yeah.
So liquidity has come out of the market, risk capital. uncertainty in the marketplace and worldwide geographics. I mean, obviously, we're in a quantum shift, in our economy and how everything's being reshaped around sovereign wealth and obviously America first, whether it's Europe first or everybody's realizing. I mean, they're rearranging the deck chairs, and we need to get make sure we're not on the Titanic. Bottom line, so
All right.
the
Well,
yeah.
so let's hand it over to Patty, who's going to take us with a little market report, and then
Yeah.
we'll sort of bat around a couple of things about what we're doing today. Is we're going to talk about Dennis is going to give us a little oversight on one of the bills in the South Carolina State House, and then we're going to jump into predictive markets, or Patty's going to give us a tale of her cats, which is one of hers is right behind her. It's
That
cute.
is a real cat too,
It's
isn't it?
got
I mean, yeah.
eyebrows. It's got black
Sure.
eyebrows. It's interesting.
Not a robot.
All right. Okay. Well, like last week, the things that we don't want to go up are going up, and the regular market's going down. But surprisingly, over the past 5 days, the Dow's kind of um, gone full circle. I thought it was going to be way down because we keep seeing like down 700 and 800 points. It was actually up 211 points. So it was high on Monday, dipped way down, and it's come back a little bit. So it's at 46.9. Oh, it just crossed 47,000 this morning. Um, and so it's up 0.6%, which isn't great, but it's the only one that's up. The S&P this morning was at 66.72, down 1.42% for the week. NASDAQ at 24,533. You know what? That's the E-mini. I couldn't get the NASDAQ composite numbers, but that's down 0.53%. The Russell 2000 was the worst. It's down 2.57%. So it's down to 24.89. It lost 60, almost 66 points. So the
Patty,
market has just been terrible.
I
Yes.
think somebody's got a question for you.
Okay.
Maybe an iPhone. Who's iPhone 7?
It might be Dennis.
Or no, it's
Oh
not
no,
Dennis. It might
that's
be
not Dennis.
Jim.
There he is. There he is,
Might be
Dennis.
Jim. I'm not sure. But anyway, all right. Well,
Okay.
they had their hand up. Sorry,
All
Patty.
right.
I
That's all
believe it
right.
usually shows up as an iPhone.
Um,
Possible.
well, gold and
Yeah.
silver have not been great. Gold
No.
has really struggled as the dollar strengthens, which I cannot believe. We're up like 73 cents over 5 days. So the dollar this morning was above a dollar. It was 100.11, just 36 cents this morning. So with the dollar strengthening, gold and silver have really suffered. Gold was at 51.08, and I bet you it's down again this morning. That's less than 0.5%. And silver is at 84.15. Actually, that's up. That's up a dollar, up 1.28%. The 10-year, well, it was higher this morning, but since CPE was reported, it came down to 4.241. But still, that's up a 0.1% since last Friday. 2 weeks ago, remember, it was below 4%. So bonds are doing terrible. WTI, I guess, is the big headline. It hit $119 this week. And this morning it was 93.93. And I bet you it's down. Hold on, I'll tell you what it is right now. No, it's 93.91, 2 cents change. 60 was what we were hovering around for about a year. And I think 60 is going to be the new base. And I won't get into the war, but anyway, with crude
Well,
oil going up, it's really damaged the rest of the market. CPI came out on Wednesday,
right.
um, and basically food has increased 3.1% over a year. Energy increased 0.5% over the last 12 months. Um, I won't go through all the numbers unless somebody's interested. You can ask me later. And PCE came out this morning. I think the biggest news this morning was that GDP growth was down to 0.7% versus consensus of the Dow Jones consensus was 1.5%. So
And and yet the
that's not
market's
good.
up.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
that doesn't look good.
Yeah.
In the core, year over year, it's 2.8%. And remember, the PCE extracts food and energy. And I
Right.
finally got my mind around that. I was like, why the heck did they take that out? And it's because
Question.
PCE shows the true inflation because energy and food fluctuate so much. So if you really want to see what services and healthcare and all of the expenses that we have in life, core gives you that true color. So it was lower than the expectation of 2.9. So that might be another reason the market's like, hey, we'll take it a tenth of a percent down.
Okay.
Okay. And that's
Well,
pretty much it.
all
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you. And
Mm-hmm.
as
Hey,
always, we
George,
appreciate it. Yeah.
George,
Yeah.
this is Paul. I was the one that actually had my hand up, but my
Okay.
microphone wasn't working. But,
Okay.
so Patty, did you notice anything, or did you get any insight or intel around what's happening in the private credit markets? I think that that's something that's, I
Oh,
personally, I think that it's going to be a bigger deal than the subprime issue because
yeah.
there's trillions in private credit. If that doesn't impact the entire market,
I,
I think
yeah.
it could actually be worse than 2008.
I think that is making people nervous. Okay, the private credit market stocks, at least that we can track, like Blue Owl, Apollo, they're all down like 42%, which is terrible. And JP Morgan came out like 3 days ago or 2 days ago and said they're going to put they gave it a lower grade and
Downgraded.
downgraded, thank you. They downgraded, and then yesterday Morgan Stanley did the same thing. And it's almost like a run on the bank. People are trying to get their money out of Apollo, out of Aries, out of Blue Owl. I forget all the names.
Morgan
Um,
Stanley has a fund, and they're all limiting redemptions. So the gates
yeah,
have been
putting a gate.
closed, and so
Hmm.
now people can't get their money, and I don't see that as being very reassuring for the market.
No, they're definitely wobbly. And I think the reason this started was when Claude was coming out with all of these new products, like for insurance and mortgages, purchasing a
Legal.
home, or um, the what do you call it? The enterprise software stocks just tanked. I
Yeah.
mean, some of them are down like more than $200, and Apollo and Blue Owl were helping fund many software companies, whether it's like Facebook, the Blue Owl deal helping Facebook build out in Louisiana that fell through. It was just a cascade effect, but I think it started with the software stocks going down in the stock market, losing value, and then it affected this private equity market. So
Okay.
yeah, it is a big deal. I'm sorry I didn't mention that.
No, that's
So
fine.
private credit is going to affect private equity, which is probably going to impact the AI trade too.
I don't
That's a
know.
good point.
I don't know.
That's good, Paul. Well,
And one other thing, I don't know if anyone caught this, but there's someone who I follow um, relating to silver, and what I within the month of March, 35 million ounces were taken for delivery on
right,
an already thin inventory at the COMEX, which I think was
right.
already below 100 million ounces. So I think we're about to see a physical run on silver.
Because they can't make the deliveries. They don't have the
It's
inventory.
going to be it's and
Right.
I don't know. I say that the moment you can't deliver physical, I think that the paper market everywhere just goes into question, and
Mm,
trust in the system is lost.
There you
don't say
go.
that. I keep tripling down on my silver. Oh,
No, I think it's going to be good for your position, but I
oh,
think
good.
it's
And not if you're expecting to hold the actual value, the actual silver bars. All right. Well, we let's we do want to get to predictive markets, which is sort of the focus of today's conversation. But I wanted to, just touch a little bit. If Jordan wants to chime in, quick second on what's going on with the market, with the crypto market, and
I had
uh,
a few. We'll finish your statement. Sorry.
no, that's I just wanted to get a few minutes in on crypto because that's kind of the idea of the call. But anyway,
Yes, and I
anything
think
you see go on the horizon?
I'm battling a puppy right now, but I think she's finally getting tired. But she has been lit the past 45 minutes. Um, Yeah, we were talking about the price of Bitcoin and the price of ETH. It's actually been a super great week. Everything's been kind of going up. But long-term opinion, we've been on a super down trend recently, and I think we're just kind of bouncing. We're going to make a leg up and kind of continue down. That's my personal opinion. In the end, these crypto things, I'm never right. If I was right all the time,
Yeah,
Um, and same with ETH and cryptos in general. But some notes on like this major, because I'm not much of a price person. I'm much of a, how's it being used and utility and
well,
uh, but as far as like the Clarity Act, um, that's getting stalled up all the time. I really think a big reason of that is banks are also just super afraid. Not only are they worried about this bank and this gold and the silver run right now, but now they got these stable coins that are about to
yeah,
show up and they're about to eat banks.
yeah,
So banks see this, they're facing a multi war right now, and they're struggling. They've already been bailed out how many times in my
yeah.
how many times are we gonna sit here and
So,
work with the
Jordan, let me ask you this though, but I believe it's you and Aaron that kind of follow the Bitcoin price of Bitcoin. I mean, you kind of watch it. You're on Trading View or
Oh yeah, yeah.
okay.
As far as
Me,
I do, I definitely watch the price on
yeah.
candle.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because that's going to relate to Frank's discussion of his predictive market platform, which we're going to get to in a second after we sort of lay out
Which
what
I have
predictive
up. I've
markets
kind of
are.
clicked on that. It's
And
it's
so I think you'll be really interested in what Frank has to say,
Mhm.
as well as everybody else on the call. So
And
Dennis, I'm gonna give you,
one final note too, since we're
yeah,
talking about banks, Wells Fargo filed a trademark for WFUSD this week. I'm pretty sure that was this week. I know it's recent news to me, and it
WF,
kind of shows that some of these big banks, the ships, they see the torpedoes coming for the ships, but maybe, they can. Some of these big banks, maybe they can figure it out and make it to the next realm of the financial world, whatever that might look like.
yeah, I think the community banks are the ones that are really soft, if you will, or
Mhm.
targets. So we'll
But
see.
Yeah, and then
what
wait, one last cool Bitcoin note. I'm sorry, but we mined the 20th million Bitcoin this week. So there's only 1 million Bitcoins left
yeah,
to be mined. That
Wow.
that's going to happen over based on mining speed and block speed. There's a lot of X factors that into it, but right now they say, like 130 years or something
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, none of us here will probably get to see what happens. What happens when the last Bitcoin gets mined.
Yeah.
But it's cool just to see these checkpoints get hit and see Bitcoin continue to do what it's done. I've
That's a
been
good point.
following from its infancy. I've on top of that, I keep reading books. Like I'm a Bitcoin encyclopedia these days. But
Well, thank
it's
you.
just fun to see the checkpoints just keep getting hit.
I think 200,000 by the end of the year.
I
That's
don't
my
know
prediction.
about time frames, but certainly I'm in for it. I'm
And
in
this
for
is
the
not financial advice.
I'm in for the up, and
No,
that's
that's
why I like down prices.
the segue into the predictive market.
Yeah.
That was my
So I
bet.
want to give Dennis, because he's been working on a bill in the South Carolina State House, just 2 minutes to
All right, take it away.
recap what has happened in the life of S-163. Dennis, you want to give us a little snapshot?
Yeah, well, we had a big week following the conference with with back-to-back hearings on the Senate subcommittee, economic development hearing, that Chairman Mark Smith led, and then we moved 2 days later into the full committee hearing with unanimous approval, um, and we're headed for the floor. So S-163 is really going to be our hallmark set of guidelines, provides for definitions as well as your right to mine, doesn't interfere with the data center debate that's going on. Actually,
Right.
dovetails right into that. Gives the attorney general teeth if somebody is trying to create a scam in the mining industry specifically. Doesn't allow for any discrimination if you're using a blockchain, for development. So we have the basic for a framework that will guide a lot of our policy, and build on that foundation, that moves now into next step DAOs, business entities, obviously, the opportunity, create capital formation around projects, and really is, a subtle nudge, to say that South Carolina, it's time for South Carolina to really reshape its economic development programs and look at technology as the foundational level, which we've been talking about really for the last year on how we pivot our economy in South Carolina. So we're really at the beginning of something very big, and looking forward to obviously where we're going from here. So a lot can happen.
Yeah.
A lot is happening. Let's put it
A
that
lot
way
is happening.
in the background, and we hope to be offering some additional input and announcements to
Okay.
move into that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think we had several people in front of the committee last week, and I think maybe that moved the mark. I think they felt more comfortable with the bill, and so they passed. I think they passed it unanimously out of the subcommittee. Is that
Well,
where we are?
subcommittee
Out of sub, and it
to
goes
full
to a
committee.
bigger committee.
Well, it went to full committee and passed full committee as well.
Okay.
So our next step is the floor,
Okay.
which the earliest of that, I mean, the General Assembly's on sabbatical next week. So first week, uh, week of March 23rd is the first week it could come up, and working to try to get that on the House floor that week. So
Yeah.
in the meantime, we also have a tour planned in Newberry with members of the law school, as well as some of the Lexington County delegation, which George was instrumental in helping us with introductions there. Yeah, there you go. I mean, the influencer. I mean, the grew
So,
up there with everybody in Columbia. More of a power broker than you know, mate. Okay.
oh yeah.
You're on
So,
a
But
roll.
yeah,
all
so we'll be
right.
doing that on next Friday, and then
Okay.
I'm hoping to double back and that following week and be in Columbia for the House vote if everything goes well.
Well,
Okay.
I just want to give you the okay, so they have to place it on the calendar, and then there is a 24-hour rule. It has to be on the calendar for 24 hours.
Okay.
They could waive that rule, but maybe
Oh,
if
that's right.
if they don't waive the rule, the first time it could get a second reading would be Thursday. So gotta be patient.
Okay.
Is
So
that a
Thursday,
Senate? That's just a
and that's
Senate
what we
rule,
need to
isn't it?
do.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Dennis.
No, I was at Patty. So obviously our next step is to is to get it on the calendar. Bottom line, the
Yeah.
week
Well,
of March
staff will do
23rd.
that. Yeah, I'm sure it's
Right.
sitting on the desk.
Right.
And
Yep.
Right.
is that a Senate rule, and peculiar to the Senate?
No,
Or-
it's in the House,
This is the House bill.
and they both have
Okay.
the same rule.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Just gives
Well,
all legislators who are not on the LCI committee an opportunity to
I'll look
see
at
the
it.
title, and if they want to examine it, they have
Right.
24 hours to do so.
Okay.
They waive that rule a lot, but you know,
Yeah. Probably not for this. All right. Well, thank you, Dennis,
Well,
and
yeah,
appreciate it all. Let's see.
we're
And
being
so
fast tracked. Who knows?
that's right. So we've had some discussions about predictive markets, and There's also talk in South Carolina about putting a casino in the Santee area, which is along I-95. And so today we're going to take a little deeper dive into predictive markets, and then we're going to actually bring on a platform with Frank has developed and talk a little bit about how that operates. And so, but just to lay it out there quickly, the the Paul Barron had a YouTube video released with a conversation with a Coinbase predictive market guru. And so it
It's
was an
their
interesting
lawyer.
conversation. Say again?
He is Coinbase's lawyer.
Yes, a lawyer on the predictive market. So anyway, but they picked out, they looked at some of and I'm going to ask you if you've ever dealt with any of these known predictive markets. First of all, there's Polymarket and Kalshi. Those are the two big ones. Most, is there anybody who hasn't actually used Polymarket or Kalshi or at least looked at them?
I've used Calci.
Okay. Anybody
I
else use
I won
Polymarket?
money there.
I'm familiar with
Okay.
them, but I haven't put money or
I've
anything.
I've used them. They're you
Okay.
know, I'm not a, I don't particularly like the way they've done it, but I've used them just
Okay.
to mess around with,
Yeah.
We
And
we
anybody
actually
use
have
the
the signal from our game, and one of the we're part. I'll explain when we get there, but
yeah.
part of our business is to arbitrage other markets with our predictive capabilities. So like we're actually arbitraging poly markets and Kalshi like with from our signal. So um yeah, and people are starting to find that there's opportunity there. So there's a bunch of agents and bots like on those
Yeah.
platforms, like sort of drawing them down.
So there's anybody use the Robinhood platform?
I have
Okay.
Robinhood.
How about Predict It? Predict It. Anybody heard of that one? These are some of the
No.
big ones. How about crypto.com? I went on that one. It's pretty good. It's
Mm-mm.
got sports and culture, I guess they call it. And it's pretty decent. But anyway, how about anybody use FanDuel predictive market? Okay.
No.
How about, and the last one is Manifold Markets. Anybody use that one? That's play money. It's So if you want to just sort of jump into the predictive market, that one manifold market uses play money. So anyway, so there's a bunch of them out there. The ones that weren't mentioned is the Coinbase one. This is if you ask who are the top 10 predictive markets, Coinbase is not mentioned, and the Trump organization's TMTG predictive market is not mentioned either. So those are some of the ones we've highlighted, but they're not mentioned. But then the discussion got into what is a predictive market, versus a sports betting market, and does just I don't want anybody to really sort of get into a big discussion about sports betting, but and I don't really care to ask you if you do bet because it's not actually legal to sports bet in South Carolina. And that's one of the reasons that the
Well, I'm in North
casino.
Carolina. I can talk about
Oh
it.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
You're in
And
North
everybody's
Carolina.
driving across the line to your state to do it.
I,
So
I
funny.
I definitely have some book apps, and anytime I go to the games or I'm watching games, yeah, I'm not a heavy sports gambler, but I like to do it
But it's
occasionally.
fun. Okay. So, but
Well,
one of the
talking,
things, yeah,
yeah, but talking about this stuff too, I'm pretty sure there was a Senate act that they're trying to well, there's a few things that are going hard against these platforms. uh First of all, there's been acts that they want to get rid of on there. They need to get rid of the sport betting and also anything war related.
yeah,
People
yeah.
think it's insane that people are seeing how much money is it going to be if this guy gets assassinated. People are like,
Oh,
no one. No, that could not be brought on to humanity. Like
Right.
that's insane stuff.
Yeah.
Like money does things to stupid people to begin with. Like,
Well, I think got because of the question was how we talked about this a couple of weeks ago about the Khomeini uh, tenure in Iran, and the wording was, "How long will it be before he's out?" And then he got taken out, and that was not quite what Kalshi meant by the definition of how long will it be before he's out. Anyway,
Mm.
so that's the death thing. That's that they are watching that very closely and not getting down that rabbit hole. Let me see if I can differentiate because it is a big discussion now about the differences. I'll try and articulate what the lawyer for Coinbase mentioned or identified as four things, and we can go from there. And then we'll introduce Frank. But anyway, I just the first one was that sports books you trade against the house. And in derivatives, and right now, predictive markets are event contracts, and that is considered by the CFTC to be a trade or swap, and it's therefore a derivative. And the derivatives market is handled by the federal government. And Patty and I and others have traded options, which is as betting as it gets, but
Hmm.
it is a derivative, and therefore it is regulated by the federal government and not by the state government. So just to clarify that as one of the differentiators between when you're discussing and somebody says, well, predictive markets is just gambling. Well, actually, predictive markets are event contracts that are regulated by the federal government to, and they're derivatives. All right. So anyway, the second point, sports books, basically they're incentivized for you to lose money. And that's one of the things that they do. So that's why the state government likes to regulate and protect the citizens of the state that they are that that gambling is allowed in. But predictive markets are set up for you to win because you're not trading against you're just trading among peers. Okay, the third one is that sports betting set the odds themselves, whereas in predictive markets, the price is determined by market forces. And you can see that there's some starting to be some clarity in the differences as I finish up with the last one. Uh, in most cases, predictive markets will let you enter and exit the trade. But in sports betting or sports booking, typically you're locked in. I think you can exit Jordan, but I think there's a penalty or there's a heavy price to pay for exiting a trade ahead of expiration. So with those four things in mind, the Federal Reserve came out recently and said that predictive markets provided a rich benchmark for research and policy. And I thought that was interesting because it kind of confirmed the of some of the authenticity of predictive markets. But anyway, that's pretty much what I've got to help us.
Well, let's see what Frank has to say.
Yeah, so we'll bring Frank on. We'll let him articulate more than me, which is pretty easy to do. But anyway, and so Frank is, and I've been talking about his platform, and I've used it some. I have uh, some successfully, some unsuccessfully. But anyway, and so his platform is called Metafied, and I think he's going to take control of the screen and be able to show us a little bit about what he does. And we understand about what the other poly market, how to trade in that market if you've ever done it. And of course, Kalshi, how you trade in that market. And by the way, poly market is uh, not legal in the United States. They are looking at trying to craft and adhere to the guardrails. And Kalshi is allowed because they have put up the guardrails to protect the uh, the market that they're it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's the market integrity, and they have put up fraud and manipulation guardrails in Kalshi, and Polymarket doesn't quite have that environment set yet, so they don't comply with U.S. law. So um, let's turn it over to Frank, and he's going to take it away, and you're the man. So fire away there, young fella.
Yeah, let's see if you got you.
Yeah,
Can everybody
We
see
can
my
see it.
screen here? All
Hmm.
right.
looks
Okay,
good.
so I've got just a little bit of history about how we got here. We initially started as an assets rating company where we were taking a long-term view of an asset and essentially assigning value to it. We were doing a bunch of pattern detection. I've I've worked previously in the past doing AI work and pattern analysis. I started a company in 2010 called Social Flow, which we used media. We published for New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, BBC, Al Jazeera, all the big ones. We would use that data to predict outcomes of certain things in addition to publishing, and that got me interested in using neural networks to sort of predict outcomes. And we first were offering an asset ratings company, and we started in 2022, sort of right smack in the middle of crypto winter. And essentially, what we were doing is we were building a service that told people not to invest in crypto, right? So
Oh
not
no.
exactly not exactly a growth industry. It was
That's
accurate,
funny.
and we saw when the market rebounded, we accurately predicted it 2 weeks in advance. With we were able to see real wallet activity, and we have a contagion model that sits on top of some of our methods. So we saw people lighting up and starting to share assets and swap assets, and people that hadn't been in the market for a while, or wallets that hadn't been in the market for a while. Um, but the this industry, it only tolerates sort of short term gratitude, sort of gratification, right? So so
Yeah.
what we did was we were like, okay, well, just the same way you sort of like when you got to give your dog medicine, you put it in peanut butter or hide it in a pill pocket, And so we decided what we were going to do is we'll build a predictive series of front ends. This is the game up on the screen. It's called Spot On. And essentially, what you're looking at right now, is a 1 minute game, um, based on the exit price of Bitcoin in that 1 minute interval, right? And so now the game's live. Like I can place positions while the game's going, and essentially what everyone's trying to do is predict where it's gonna exit this one side here. So unlike one of the things that George says, you can't exit your position, but you could put additional positions in and sort of counteract or dilute or amplify your previous positions. And so on the right
Hmm.
hand side of the screen, you see a leaderboard of people. It changes with every tick, with every market entry of everybody in there. You can put up to 10 positions in the 1 minute game. And what we're doing is we're taking this and we're applying it towards arbitraging the markets. There's a 1 minute, 1 day, 1 hour game for this asset. We have NVIDIA that's trading, and it's only a one market session, so you don't have a full day. Um, but yeah, what we're doing is all of this is counterparty funded. You're not playing against the house. Um,
Hmm.
you can't exit your
Yep.
position, but you also can't manipulate it either. So it's basically like whatever the market is doing. I mean, unless you want to go try to sell enough Bitcoin to move the market, in which case, like we probably can't stop you from doing that. But in this case, what we're allowing people to do is just play. And people will sit here. The average player plays 104 times a month, 104 games a month, and we've had people. There's no real. You might ask, like, how much could you get? It depends on tokens times time in game.
Yep.
So, in order to let me explain that, like if you put your position in here early in the game and you're accurate, it's better than if you drop a position there and it's more accurate, like it's later, because you're accruing value for how much alpha you feed into the system. And we have people playing like I'm playing right now, like a doofus, where I'm just coming in here and just tossing dots in. So that's more
But
of like a gambling mentality. But we have people that are running screens with, uh, we have running their own models. There's a bot API that's launching because we already have people using bots in the game. And essentially, we've tried to actually we went the whole route. Like this guy made 5.5x on his money in a minute. Like these things are pretty well, they're well tolerated by the crypto community at this point. So, um, but
it's
there's no
funny.
theoretical cap on how much you can earn
All
because
right. I'm on
yeah,
I'm sorry, Frank, just one second.
go for it, George.
I'm on the site now. I've got it in the 1 minute time frame. It's on my
Mhm.
phone, so I don't have a good picture, or I don't have the width of the screen as you have.
Yeah, the mobile app is
Is it a
the
little
live
tighter?
leaderboards. Yeah, the live leaderboard's up on the right. You could
Okay.
hit the three dots and see that if you want.
Oh, okay.
The
All
main
right.
action here happens in the middle.
Got it. I see it now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I see the
so
guys. Yeah. Yeah, they're making they're making some money in a minute. Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
losing
you
some
see.
too.
And you make
Yeah.
money if people lose?
Yeah, so you don't necessarily like, yes, that's true, but it's not like a binary option like Kalshi or Poly markets where you're winning the other side of the trade. Essentially, all of this gets distributed according to something called dynamic mean distribution. And all that's just
Mhm.
like a fancy like way of saying like you're rewarded for how precise you are relative to the other players and how early you came into the game. So
Yep.
there's an exponent
Yep.
for time, so for timing game. So early predictions are worth more towards the eventual outcome than late ones. And then precision counts too, obviously, because you're trying to predict the exit price. Um, but yeah, like so this is a totally different type of prediction market. We tried to go the route of applying for the gambling licenses and stuff like that. And literally what they told us was, well, we'd have to classify trading as gambling if we wanted to do that. So, like you got to apply for a through the CFTC and get your DCM for derivatives, not for gambling per se. So,
Right.
uh, yeah, because it is a game of skill, even though you could play it like again, like I'm playing like a total moron here. But you it is a game of skill based on how accurate and how early you are. So there are people like actually since we've been here, some of those people that have won multiple times because they're really good players. And we have some players have put through 50, $60,000 through this thing already, and they're up quite a bit. So yeah, like we're trying to find a regulatory framework for it. We've gone down the road to apply for the CFTC. We'll probably get that, but at the same time, if there's a way to apply for a gambling license and just have everybody leave us alone, we'll do that too. But
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
you show up with something new and everybody's like, I don't know. We literally went to the the chief counsel from the CFTC. We caught him at a thing, and he said, he's like, I would just build it and ask for forgiveness later. He's like, I think it's kind of hard to classify that. But he's like, just start your application and then just at the same point, like if you need to modify it, then do it. So that's sort of where we're at, and we're yeah, the guy in the middle here, he's won, I think, four of the time since we've been on here. But this is called
Wow.
Metafied. This part one's called Spot On. We're going to go through and build a range game. So we're trying to predict the spot price in this game. We have a range game called Range Rivals that's going to come out. We're going to support the Magnificent Seven stocks and then the major volume crypto because
Oh
we're
wow.
using neural networks, so you have to have enough volume in order for the predictions to work. For
Yeah.
the pink line here is the AI guidance line. And you'll see it's usually
All
fairly
right, the
accurate.
pink identify that for me again. The pink line is what?
The pink line is a guidance from a competition between a bunch of neural networks to
Okay.
predict the exit price. And then you're trying to compete with each other and obviously
Yes.
AI to be more accurate, right?
And the purple line is the actual price of Bitcoin right now, like it just jumped
That
up.
Yikes.
that is the aggregated feed from the CBOE coming in.
Okay.
So it's a certified feed of the
Yeah,
Bitcoin
it jumped
price.
up again.
It
We're
is
Yeah,
not
it's
going
about to
using.
expire. This
73.
contract, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Patty.
I was just telling the price. It is going straight up. So the
Mhm.
line is correct. 73,584.
Okay, now the next game has just started. Well, it's five seconds
You can
left.
preload positions in the lobby too. So if you have your own model, you're predicting that way. Then you get in at the 0th second and get the most credit for time in game.
And where do you put it in a lobby? I don't know.
The lobby that runs in between the games, there's a 15-minute sort of waiting period. Oh,
Okay.
look at that. That was a way to
Well,
go.
so
It's like,
during the day, are you trying to think of new ideas to what could we put on this? Like you just said, the Mag 7 and
yeah, so that stuff's already in progress. Right now, we're just building critical mass. We want to be able to run the 1 minute games around the clock. Right now, they're running global market opens. So you have a window where the for every hour after the market opens in here in Europe and in Asia to run a 1 minute game. But we want to connect the 1 minute game to run around the clock, and then that'll probably happen as soon as the bot API launches next week. So
and,
yeah,
Okay.
and how
and,
do
and then we're gonna launch other games too. Like I said, the range game, and then an open options interest game as well.
and you're just constantly trying to think of, hey, what's the next thing we can add to this? I was just trying to visualize how you spend your time during the day. Like, what else could we do to improve this? Is
Well,
that what
right
you're thinking?
now, so yeah, right now to figure that out, it's software folks
Brainstorming?
call it eating
If
their own dog food. So we're literally taking the signal from our games, and there's a competition inside the company right now to use the signal to arbitrage other platforms. So we're arbitraging Poly Markets. I'm leading the GMX team. There's a team against Hyperliquid, and then there's a team against Poly Markets. So we're using the signals that we have to generate in those markets there, and we're in the process of standing up our own prop fund in our company. So
okay.
Hmm.
it's just a matter of that. Yeah.
Well,
You're
I've
But
not
yeah,
got
going after Kalshi?
yeah, we're doing the culture too. Um,
Hmm.
Frank, you mentioned that this is 1 minute, and you can on the left you can see that that's one time frame. You have another one
yeah,
that's a
there's a
one
one
hour
hour.
long.
Yeah, and let's check out
That
the one day
yeah, and
because
then the one day, and that the hour is the one I picked because sometimes the minute is not available,
right, that's
and
correct.
so you have to play the hour as the lowest time frame, and and so that one is more compatible to my style, I guess.
Yeah,
And that's the one I've traded. But
I
anyway,
think it's only reasonable that it's going to keep going up at this point. So I'm going to put that up there.
that's
Yeah,
good.
the 1 day game gets pretty big sometimes. Like right now it's pretty early, and these players are smart, so they'll wait until the run is up, and then they'll all start jumping in. Like sometimes this game gets up to 30 to 40 thousand dollars in the pool. Um,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah,
Well,
and then if you are among the top 2% of players, you get these things called streaks, and you can win a streak pot. Like if you get this 5x have been cleared, but the if you win ten streaks in a row or 5-2 streaks or whatever, you can win about $3,500 here. And the 1 minute game, I think those replenish pretty quickly. So we'll see. This is the lobby mode, by the way.
a
So I'm
what
gonna put a
vote?
few in lobby mode. Like you're basically in a preload period where if you get your positions in, they just hit at the 0th second. But I just came over here to tell so the 121 and the 5x streak pot, but 25x streak here is growing 1.4. So there's a piece of every game that rolls up into that pot.
All right. Well,
Anyway, thanks for letting me show you guys.
no, thank you
Well,
because
I have another
anybody
question.
anybody else got a
Yeah.
question?
Yeah, I
Want
was curious about, so how do people find out about your platform? Is it advertising or just word of mouth? Or, I mean, you're doing it all over the world, so how do people know?
Yeah, so we're doing some advertising. Most places are intolerant of anything that has to do with prediction markets or crypto. So Instagram's been pretty good for us. Facebook has helped a little bit. Um,
Hmm.
X is
Okay.
since like black hole basically everything that has to do with this. So we use platforms like Layer 3. Like you can run campaigns on those. Those are questing platforms, and people are finding out about us there. But there is a word of mouth, and also if anybody you invite, there's a Ponzi nomics sort of market to this, but it's actually legit. Like if you invite people, you get a piece of our rake. If you invite somebody and then they invite somebody else, instead of us earning the money, you get it as the refer. So you
That's
get
nice.
to share in our revenue,
All
and
right, don't
and it,
anybody
and
sign up till you get my access code.
and you can get your code right here on the left. By the way, this one right here. If you mouse over that and copy that, or
Where
on
is it?
just tap it on the left here, invite friends and earn. If you do that, you earn 3 generations of people you invite. So the people you invite, and they invite. So
Wow.
Wow, that's
yeah,
great.
Okay. So,
yeah.
two
Thanks everybody.
things.
And how long has this been up and running? That's my final
Sorry,
question.
go ahead.
Since October, we launched it at Token 2049 in Singapore.
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, I know it was a big at not Christmas, but the latest at the after the conference. I know there's a quite a big discussion over in the corner as others of us were enjoying the Greek food about this particular platform, and they were fascinated with it. It was a great, lively discussion. But anyway, Patty, so we're going to have a side conversation on this. The two things that I'm interested in, Jordan has left us, but that's why I asked Jordan about him watching the market. And maybe what we'll do is have a little class with anybody who might be interested in learning a little bit more about for us to be able to look at the the trend of Bitcoin so that we can maybe play this, or maybe we'll do a little group thing together. We'll see. But anyway,
Right.
anybody who's interested, I believe the website it's not an app. It's you have to go to the website and Frank, if you want to tell us what the actual website name or address is, it's
Yeah,
Surge.
Surge is the platform of all the games. That game was called Spot On. If you just go to metafi.io,
Oh,
META, I'll put it right here in the chat. If you just go there, and
Metafy.
you can deposit using your MetaMask wallet, using a Base wallet. We're going live in the Coinbase mini app this week. Um, we also accept Barachain, Ethereum, a bunch of other tokens. And you can also, if you don't know anything about crypto at all, you can get in there by using Apple Pay through Coinbase, a deal we have with Coinbase on ramp. You don't even have to feel the crypto. Like you just play. You'll have a crypto wallet. It'll work. But then when you want to withdraw, it just goes to your bank. So you can do it that way.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, all right. Well, that's what I wanted to do, and I'd like some feedback. Those of you who are interested in maybe learning a little bit deeper discussion on and how this platform works. I thought it's fascinating, but that's just me. But I guess let's wrap it up and call it a day. We've all about expired an hour here. So, anybody else got anything they want to say? Otherwise, it's St. Patty's Day weekend here in Columbia, and you're probably having some activities in your town as well. And then St. Patty's Day actually is Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm
happy
glad you
St. Patty's
reminded
Day,
me of
everybody.
that, George. I forgot all about St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. So go
Yeah,
green, okay?
I'm putting an O in front of my name.
A what?
An
And
O.
oh, what's
O
that?
for O for
Oh,
Oh,
Sylvester.
oh,
for St. Patrick's
Fastelas.
Day.
Oh,
We're
like
slow.
Oh Pierce.
Yeah, that's
Oh
cute.
Spicer.
That's
All
good.
right. Thank y'all. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
All
Frank.
right.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for having me. Good to see everybody.
Bye
Thank you,
now,
Bye.
Frank.
everybody.